Finally, Dragon Zone is open and we are going to have some amazing fights throughout couple of days, right? This is Season of Stripe 6 and as an archer main, I'm going to try my best to get as much merits as possible, right? We have 5 archer marches with us, Ruby and Frygar, Falwim and Nico, Magrat and Zaida, Indis and Tara, and of course Kinara with Musyang. Only Indis and Tara is using tier 4 wyverns. Other than that, we got finally tier 5 troops, right? Of course, I'm expecting a lot of yellow merits. Of course, I'm expecting to get a lot of merits because this game is telling us that we should fight a lot, because if you want to increase the decoration level and the attack increase, you kinda have to get merits, because in merit store we can see how many random legendary decoration chests are available there, right? I'm trying to move there faster. Right now the whole fight is happening regarding who will have access to Dragon, right? This is the first day of the gameplay, and of course I will try my best to be as effective as possible, right? Well, who are participating in this Zone 5? We have well, Pirates, we have BR, and of course we have Locke, right? Who are our opponents? Our opponents are X, our opponents are Seal and HT, right? Of course we have fought against Seal and HT before, and only X is the new alliance. This is basically like a small story, what is actually happening around the battlefield, who is fighting who, because well, maybe you guys know the alliances which we are fighting, and we're gonna see the familiar faces around the battlefield, right? Of course, as I mentioned, the whole fight right now is regarding who will access the dragon, because well, if we all know that in Call of Dragons defending is much more easier than attacking, right? So whoever will get there faster, in my opinion, will be the primary one who will try to take the dragon, because well, in defense you're gonna build bastions, you're gonna build forts, and of course keeps, and like in general I believe in Call of Dragons it's way easier to actually defend your territory than actually conquer the opponent's territory, right? That's why this whole fight is happening, for the territory gain for the dragon, right? And that's the reason why everybody is trying their best to get there as fast as humanly possible. Of course, I want to speak about the G5 archers, because I am getting a lot of questions. Is G5 archers better than Magrat and Zaida? And I will say once again, it's really early for me to speak which one is better, because I got almost awakened Magrat, I got awakened Zaida, my Shadow Manticore is 3-star barbarism, so we can't really compare, right? Because my Ruby is 5223, not even full level, still I believe she's 58 levels, so it's pretty normal for me to say that it's really early to judge which hero pair, which war pet is better, new ones or Magrat and Zaida, right? It's pretty epic that we are still comparing the new heroes to Magrat and Zaida, but yeah, what we can do, they are the best hero pair in the game for archer gameplay. But I have really high hopes regarding Ruby and Kailan. I truly believe that they are going to deal absolutely amazing amount of merits and damage in this game, because whenever we are fighting against our opponents with 50 level Ruby, we will still getting the yellow merits, right? Which is really important to mention, because well, can you imagine what will happen whenever Ruby will be max level awakened? Another extra normal attack damage which this hero will deal. So basically, it's like a shotgun, right? This hero can deal huge amount of damage by the normal attack, and extra normal attack, which we should always mention, right? And yeah, that's the way I believe this hero pair will be performing in general. By the normal attack damage. Of course, I wish they had some healing, but well, if we are going to deal like 7 or 8 extra normal attack damage to our opponents, who needs healing, right? Which means that you are full damage dealing hero pair. That's how I look at the Kailan, and that's how I look at the Ruby, right? because yeah, like there is no healing, just couple of defensive buffs, which basically is nice always, right? Because we all know that in late game of Call of Dragons, it's way better to actually have defensive stats to survive the battlefield than offensive ones, right? And I can actually evaluate regarding that topic, because some people think that even like mana stones, even like all the attributes which we have in the game, like attack is best, right? Which is not true in my opinion. Attack is not the best. I believe HP bonuses and defensive bonuses are way more valuable, and let me tell you why. For example, well, okay, you're gonna get attack mana stone, you're gonna get a lot of attack buffs, right? Which means you're gonna deal more damage, right? But your HP won't gonna increase. You will still receive counter-attack damage from your opponents. So at the same time, yes, you're gonna deal more damage, but you won't gonna have same amount of time when you could have whenever you have more HP, more defense, which will make you survive longer, right? So basically, you might say, George, come on, you are only attacking infantry, right, as an archer player. Yes, it might be a little boring that 90% of the times you are going to be targeting infantry players, but why we should care, right? I'm still getting a lot of merits whenever I'm attacking infantry. If our opponents will make mistake, I'm gonna punish, right? That's pretty normal. So why should we risk our hero pair, which we are always trying to save our troops? Why we should risk, right? We should not really risk, because whenever you are dealing damage, just stand there and deal damage, right? Why you should go for like couple of seconds to deal damage, and of course you might get caught, you might get targeted, and you are going to get destroyed, right? Trust me, if you're gonna be alive for like only 5 minutes in the battlefield, there is no way that you are going to get a lot of merits. That's how I look at the game. I don't know, maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right, but almost every single season, especially like past couple of ones, I'm always getting 12 million merits, which is really good in my opinion. And I believe like every single player should be trying to get that 12 million merits, right? For example, I'm gonna say even more, right? Last KVK I had 22 million merits, which was the maximum which I have ever had, and of course, as always, I will try my best to get even more, right? Because why not, right? We should always try to get even more. That should be the goal, and of course, I will try my best to be successful with my goal, right? And yeah, like why I rate healing so much. That's another topic which I always want to talk about. Like check my hero pairs and check their HPs. Almost everybody has healing, but most of the healing of course has Magrat and Zaida, right? Which hero pair is more like healthy? Of course Magrat and Zaida. Which hero pair is less healthy? Ruby hero pair basically has the least healing in my hero pairs, and we can actually see that Ruby has the lowest HP. Well, that's the story of my gameplay, right? I always try my best to have healing on my hero pairs, because I believe it's really important in order for us to deal damage and to survive some fights, right? Of course, it was a little bit risky, especially when I was tier 4, because no matter what, no matter how many heals you are going to do, unfortunately, you won't gonna get enough for a tier 4 player to survive the fights, right? That's why, of course, healing is great, it will help you a lot, but trust me, when you are getting tier 5 troops, that's when healing matters, right? That's when healing is amazing. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to speak about a little bit. And yeah, I sometimes want to try to deal damage to these mages, but yeah, it's really risky, but let me try here, right? Maybe we can make it happen. Yeah, I guess it was nice. Let's get back and let's wait for our infantry to make a move, right? Because they without infantry, archers are basically nothing. That's the way I'm thinking about the game. That's the way I'm playing Call of Dragons, right? Of course, for ranged players, you kinda have to wait for the war gameplay, because solo gameplay is not for mages or archers, right? It's not good for you. Like, if you are testing your hero pairs in 1 versus 1 fights, that's nonsense in my opinion, right? Of course, you can just try out 1 versus 1 duels and see how much damage your warhead deals, how much damage your hero pair deals, but I believe it's not a good indication how that hero pair will do in a real war situation, right? Because in 1 versus 1 duels, there is totally different gameplay. You don't need a lot of healing, you are just attacking, right? Like, whoever deals more damage will win, basically, right? But in war, whoever deals more damage generally don't win, right? Whoever survives fights, whoever is more healthy during the fights, that's who wins, right? So yeah, you can always try your 1 versus 1 duels for as an indicator, for example, for mages or archers, if your crits are happening, how much crit damage you deal, and like these small stats, right? But in general, I believe if you want to fully understand how well you are playing and how well your hero pair is performing in open field PvP, you kinda have to try your hero pairs in wars, right? Because then your healing is effective, your movement is effective, you're gonna check if march speed is correct, because, well, ranged players without march speed, I'm sorry, they will be horrible, right? Like, whenever tank will going to blink on top of your head, then you are gonna understand how important march speed is, because without march speed, it's basically almost impossible to be effective, right? Like, we all know how low amount of march speed in general mages and archers have, and how fast in general cavalry and infantry is, right? And it's a pretty big topic in my opinion, which we should always remember. Sometimes when we are talking about march speed, I will confess, sometimes I'm fighting with march speed Manastone, right? That's how much I value the march speed on my archer heroes, and basically that's the idea I'm trying to make. There was time when I had the synced up hero pairs in terms of march speed, but, well, unfortunately I'm adding more and more, or fortunately, I'm adding more and more hero pairs on my arsenal, and of course it's not that easy, right? Whenever I'm gonna finalize my hero pairs, then I will try to go and sync their speed ups again, because in my opinion, the march speed is really valuable in Call of Dragons, right? So let's try to make it happen. Right now we are lacking some infantry because our opponent is fighting near their cities, and it's way easier for them to refill their marches, right? Which we have always should mention. Of course, if we had like blink infantry here and somebody would push, would be super good. But yeah, that's the story. You want to survive, you want to be tanky, just don't overchase, don't try too much, because these kind of fights are basically for mages, right? They are the ones who gonna move up because they have a safety of the range. Of course, here when we have infantry players who are going to defend, we are going to move up and deal a lot of damage to these mages, because, well, finally, this is our time, right? This is our time, and let's try to move up. I'm pretty sure these mages won't gonna target me, and even if they will do, I will try to tank it, because yeah, like sometimes it's just enough of infantry damage whenever I'm fighting. I just want to be risky, especially whenever I'm making video, right? Because if I will be too much defensive, the video will be too long, and unfortunately the video will be boring, right? That's why we should always try to be safe at the same time, and always looking forward on hitting mages, because if you don't know, mages are the best target for archers, because they are having the lowest physical armor, and archers are having highest physical damage. That's why I believe if you want to be successful and if you want to get like a lot of merits in open field PvP, you kinda have to sometimes at least try to deal damage to ranged units, but of course you kinda have to be cautious at the same time. And here I can see these archers are moving up, but yeah, we are almost getting caught, but we managed to survive, which is really important. I will try to go inside the ball, because that's the most safe place which you can fight from at an archer player, and of course I can't really move up because there is just too much infantry around the battlefield, right? Well, I think I spoke regarding a lot of stuff in this video, which I think is important for players to understand. And there is one more topic which I wanted to speak regarding new Warped, which is looking amazing in my opinion, like perfect combination for the Ruby and Kylan for the normal attack damage dealing ability, because the Wind Whistle will deal a lot of damage, right? If you don't read the stats and if you don't read what this Warped is going to do, it's huge, right? Like perfect combination for the Ruby hero pair for extra normal attack damage, because that Warped will help us to deal even more normal attack damage and extra normal attack damage, which is really valuable, right? In general, I really like the heroes and hero pairs which has a synergy towards each other. I don't like to make heroes just simply because one deals a lot of damage and second will same. I want them to be synergistic with each other's play kit, right? That's the idea I'm always trying to do. And here, amazing, right? Ruby will deal damage to multiple targets, Island will help us to get extra normal attack damage, and new Warped Wind Whistle will give us extra normal attack damage also, and some debuffs, right? Because that Warped has some control inside, and those march speed reductions is really valuable, right? If you are going to reduce the march speed of your opponent, it means you're gonna catch them and it means you're gonna deal damage, right? So I'm just trying to explain how important march speed is for the gameplay of Call of Dragons, because yeah, without that it would be impossible for us to move around the battlefield in a good manner. It would be impossible for us to catch our opponents on the battlefield. So yeah, it's the idea, right? So what's going on here? This is Seal and our opponents. I believe there might be a couple of alliances together fighting. So yeah, we're gonna try our best to don't let them build here. And of course I want to deal damage to the ranged players, and this is the perfect time. We're gonna get a lot of merits from here, and if somebody will at least use blinks, because only our opponents are basically using blinks, unfortunately. Let's move up, let's deal damage, let's go. This is good, but we kinda have to move back at the same time, right? Because if you will only stand still and deal damage, unfortunately, at some point you are gonna get caught, and it will be bad practice for you. But I can see this mage is just doing too much. So yeah, nice. Let's see what's gonna happen whenever we're gonna move up with the infantry. But yeah, you can see how cautious I am, right? Because I know if I'm gonna get targeted, that's the end of our hero pairs, and they are basically really low already. Not Magrat and Zaida, which we have to mention, because Magrat and Zaida is amazing. This is why I rate healing. I will repeat one more time. But yeah, that's the reality. Of course, I will try to put healing more and more in my hero pairs, but of course it won't gonna be easy, because Advanced Chain Strike costs 3 Yggdra crystals, and it's not that easy to actually generate those Yggdra crystals during the open field PvP, right? I think I have never done the resource healing quest in this game, and I have been playing Call of Dragons for almost 3 years, and yeah, no healing quest so far. Fortunately or unfortunately, right? Because I don't know, I just don't like to use my resources too much for healing, because well, I'm tier 5 already, right? It costs a lot. It actually costs too much. Let me try to deal damage. Let's move up, guys. Let's move up. Nope, there was a little lag and I thought for a second. Yeah, you can see in a second we got stunned, and that's the reason why I don't like the artifact variants in this game. We don't want too much control as in ranged players. We have low march speed, we have low defensive stats, and you are giving too much crowd control to opponents, right? The infantries are getting too much. So that's the main reason why I don't like the artifact variants feature in this game in general, and hopefully it will be the last time when I see it, because yeah, that's just too much, right? Like, come on. Cavalry having blinks, infantry having too many blinks, too many stuns, too many controls. That's just too much, right? That's just too much, and let's try to avoid doing that. And of course, regarding the map, yeah, map could be way better, let's be honest. Portal gameplay might be fun if they will make a portals in a much better map. I believe it would be great, but not in this kind of map, right? Allow alliances to access any single region whichever they want. Why we are restricting anything in this game, I have no idea. The behemoth capture is pretty strange, and in general I believe the Season of Stripe 6 could be way better, right? But unfortunately it's not. Let's hope that they will fix those mistakes and it will get better in the future, because of course whenever you are trying to do something new and the game is not allowing you to fight, and basically most important alliances kinda got stuck and waiting for the portal, right? Which is never a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea when the top alliances in your KVKs are basically waiting until you're gonna put portal. Just allow people to fight, right? Just give them ability to have more PvP gameplay. That's why this game is great. That's why everybody is playing this game, not because of economy, not because of the farming or anything like that, right? Everybody is playing Call of Dragons because they like PvP open field. Not because of the artifacts, not because of the other stuff, just because you can actually control your gameplay here. Alright, let's just deal damage to these archers. Finally we have some time and use the artifacts, which are important, but at the same time I just don't want to get caught right here. Yeah, let's just try to deal damage at this point, because our troops are way less and we won't gonna deal too much damage. That's the reality. And yeah, let's easily go and let's check our merits, right? 45, 24, 24, 25, and most of the time we are dealing damage to infantry players, which we always have to mention, right? That's the name of the game. Of course, most of them are positive traits, but well, whenever we're gonna have chance to deal damage to mages, the merits will get more and more, right? And hopefully, like first couple of hours is always infantry targets, then infantry stamina is kicking in, and that's when we're gonna deal damage to mages. Of course, I'm gonna make more and more videos, and if you want to check them out, press like, subscribe, share. It always gives me more and more motivation to make more content for this game. I wish everybody an amazing day, morning and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye and good luck.